What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi and welcome. And if you're not, obviously, you know that I haven't been posting videos very often. But my goal in 2024 is to post more often because, quite honestly, I like creating content even if not a lot of people are watching it. So through the end of this year and into the beginning of next year, hopefully I will have a lot more content to share about camper life and just some of the day-to-day things that go on with having a camper and living in one. But obviously by the title of this video, our propane ran out. And normally it runs out in the middle of the night or on a weekend, or we catch it right before it runs completely out, and we get the tanks refilled. That was obviously not the case this time. So John had left for work and I was asleep for another hour or so, probably more like 2 hours after he'd left for work. And then I woke up and was like, it's freezing in here. We must be out of propane. And I normally check with the stove because it's obviously propane also. And there was still some, but it was kind of like flickering. So that just means that propane's almost out. So normally if that happens in the middle of the night, John lovingly will get up and go do it because I hate the smell of propane and it bothers me. But obviously the propane didn't run out until he left. So I had to change it, which is all fine and well. It's not that hard. But sometimes he tightens the knobs down really tight on the tank, so I have to actually use the pliers to get them off. But anyways, propane ran out. Everything is fine now. It's all nice, warm, and cozy in here, but I did throw on pretty much all of my husband's clothes to go and change the propane. So without further ado, let's go change some propane.
So it's currently 9:30. This is the current state that we're in because the propane ran out like right after my husband left for work. Because normally if it runs out in the middle of the night, John will just get up and change it because normally we're freezing. So clearly it didn't run out until after he had left because it's freezing now. I have yet to get up because it's cold and I am under my heating blanket. And poor Blue is snuggled up next to me also. So I need to get up and put warm clothes on and change the propane so we can actually have some heat in here. But I've been avoiding it for the last hour because it is literally so cold outside of the blankets. Note to self, don't let your propane run out because it gets very cold. So I also need to put these silver things up on all the windows. John has it on his window, but I do not have it on mine because the sun pokes through and honestly I really enjoy it. But it's time to put it up all the way so that way no air can escape in here. So we need to do that today too. So you can't even see Blue, but there she is. She's down cuddled right behind me.
This is what we got. Super cute. Here, let's get the whole look here. Sweatpants and boots. Sweatpants, coat, and hoodie. All the hubs. Got gloves, my hat. Let's go bear the cold and get this freaking propane taken care of because it's cold. Okay, so the propane obviously has been changed. Y'all saw me do that. And I only put one tank back in because we have 3 big tanks and 2 like small tanks that you would use on like a grill. They're kind of like our emergency tanks if for some reason all 3 are out. So what's really nice is that our campsite actually refills our tanks for us, so I don't have to take them into town or anything. So I have the 2 set outside, where Carl, the groundskeeper, will come over and pick them up, go fill them up, and bring them back, which is awesome because they have a propane tank here on site to refill everybody's propane tanks, and it's amazing. So it just makes it so much easier, so that way I don't have to lug them all the way into town. Because sometimes when you do that, places are like, oh yeah, we actually don't have propane, and you gotta jump to like 5 different places before you can find somebody who does have propane. So that just solves that problem. So the tank that I did put in is our biggest tank. I actually don't know how many gallons it is, but it's our biggest tank. So even though 2 of our tanks are not filled right now, Carl will probably fill them later today, so I'm really not worried about it. But even if you didn't fill it later today, that big tank will last us for a little while, so I'm not worried about making sure that those other two tanks get filled immediately. Plus, like I said, we have 2 small tanks underneath also that are emergency tanks if we need to. Now, one thing we don't have, which pretty much everybody else here on the campsite has, is skirting. And we've kind of been avoiding it because skirting is kind of expensive, but also it's like, do we really need it? Can we get by without it? And honestly, in our bedroom, which is the front of the camper, that's where the most air goes through, and the floor gets really, really cold, and we only have 1 heat vent in the bedroom. I don't necessarily know why that is, but we only have 1. So we are going to get skirting at least for the front to keep the floor and stuff in the front warmer, because like through the kitchen and even through the living room, we have storage underneath the living room, so it's still blocked off so wind is not hitting it. And being out here in Colorado, it's not the dead of winter yet. However, it's going to get very cold very quickly. And like I said, this morning it was 26 degrees. I think the high today is like 40. So it does get pretty cold. The sun is awesome. It definitely feels warmer during the day than it actually is, but with a little bit of wind here and there, or just air being able to circulate through, it definitely makes the floors cold. So John is going to get some skirting. We're going to probably try to get some spray foam also to insulate the underneath side, especially in the front there, since that's where we sleep and the floor gets very cold. And I might even install a little personal heater on the wall close to me. That may not be the smartest idea, but we'll see. We'll see if John approves of the idea. But anyways, yeah, that's what happens when the propane runs out, and that's pretty much what we do. That's the process. And yeah, thankfully this time we actually got a gauge. We replaced our gauges, or our hoses for the propane, and it has a little gauge on there that says like full, empty, or almost empty, and then all the way empty. I don't want to say that it's 100% accurate, because a lot of times it'll be like in the green for a really long time, and then all of a sudden it'll just be like yellow or red like almost immediately. So it doesn't really give you much warning, but you can pretty much tell like, okay, we're almost out of the green, which means that this is almost empty. So it is definitely helpful, because in the past we would have to like unbuckle the tank and like lift it up to kind of see how much propane was left in there. And because of the gauges, we just don't really have to worry about that too much. And you pretty much always run into the problem of running out of propane at night, because that's really when the heat is on the most. Because during the day, I'll run the electric fireplace quite a bit, because I'm normally like in the living room area anyways, just to save on propane. But yeah, that's pretty much the process. That's everything about the camper so far, and it being cold. But I've got laundry to put away and dishes to do, so I need to get to it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day or evening whenever you're watching this, and God bless all of you, and I hope these videos are at least somewhat fun to watch occasionally.